Breaking news. The interest in Sverre Nypan from Aston Villa has decreased, and this news quite possibly could send the fan base into a meltdown. Or are you someone who's going to remain level headed and look at this as it's okay, the deal's going to get done? Well, people, I'm about to bring you some big news, give you a bit more insight, and you can make your thoughts and feelings on this one. But before we go any further, please smash the like button. Let's aim for 100 likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, as we're on the road to 15,000 subscribers, and get in the comment section. Are you level-headed? Are you calm? Or do you see the storm that is coming, a disastrous window ahead? And if Aston Villa can't get what looked like a certain deal done and tied, then when are we going to get a deal done? Those are the questions that I'm going to be posing today. So make sure you're locked in, make sure you're tuning in, and make sure you follow this one up. So let's start from the beginning. Sverre Nypan is a Norwegian wonder kid, dubbed with a massive high IQ for his footballing ability at 18 years old, plays for Rosenborg, and has been linked to every major club. But in particular, Arsenal and Aston Villa have been at the forefront of this race for Nypan. And it seemed that one stage he was going to Arsenal in January. And then after the January transfer window, it seemed that Aston Villa were in pole position. It seemed that certain he was going to Aston Villa that only a few months ago and weeks ago, all these journalists were reporting such things. And I'm going to show you now. First of all, let's start with the mainstream media in terms of reported from Sky Sports, 16th of April 2025, Aston Villa are making progress in talks with Rosenborg over a deal for 18-year-old Norwegian midfielder Sverre Nypan. So that was, again, a reliable mainstream media in the BBC and the Sky Sports who are reporting that. And people always say to me, oh, I'm not going to believe transfer news or stories until I see either Sky, BBC, or even the official club say it. And there we go. That was reported by Sky Sports. It was also followed up as well by, of course, our two high tier, God tier levels of journalism in terms of David Ornstein, who again says Aston Villa working to close deal for Sverre Nypan from Rosenborg. Heavily pursued by likes of Arsenal and Girona, but Aston Villa confident 18-year-old midfielder keen to join. Must still agree fee and personal terms, so not done, but attempting to finalise. And that was talked about again about the Villa getting the deal done, and that was done again April the 14th. So again, we're talking a couple of months ago. And you'd have thought between now and a couple of months ago, we would have been doing the nitty gritty. We would have agreed that fee. We would have got the personal terms sorted if we were that close to signing him. And then finally, just to get our third one in to confirm the links and rumours that were there, was again Fabrizio, who said, of course, I'll give you a date in a second. He said Aston Villa are advancing talks to sign 18-year-old Norwegian kid Sverre Nypan. Negotiations underway on both club and player side, as Ole Saga reported. Now hold that thought with this person here for a second, as Villa presented their project weeks ago. Talks ongoing to win the race over Man City, Girona, and Arsenal. So again, same sort of flavour, same sort of articles, same sort of stories, same sort of outcome around April 14th. So let's be real here. If we're talking April the 14th, we'd be looking now into June, 2 months are nearly passed. Where's the update? How have we not finalised? What's changed the circumstances? Why has Sverre Nypan not put pen to paper? Why have we not got a here we go? And why is it worrying times for Aston Villa? Well, let's put it down to this. It's a couple of reasons. Number one, it could be, as I hate to keep banging on about it, the fact we missed out on Champions League football. And again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but could a signing like this be influenced by the fact that he will not be playing Champions League football? Maybe not on this case because of his age. Second of all, could be the fact of the project and where Aston Villa need to sell first before they can buy. And finding the right suitors for the likes of Bailey, Onana, Martinez, those players who have been linked away, we still haven't had an outgoing before we can have an incoming. Potentially that might be one of the barriers. Or finally, quite possibly, a new club has emerged in this race, given a new sort of project, given a new insight, and come back with a new sort of deal as well that might be better financially in terms of wages. It's all ifs, buts, and maybes, but the one thing that is sure and why it is important news here is that he looked dead certain to join Aston Villa. He rejected Arsenal in January. It then transferred to Aston Villa into April, and we were very close. A few months on, that news is not there. And why am I reporting this news today? Because here is the news from as I said, reported by the guy who Fabrizio talked about, Ole Saga. Now, we could say this guy is just guessing, but he is a Norwegian journalist, and I'll show you the article in a second in Norwegian. But it says the interest in Sverre Nypan from Aston Villa has recently decreased. Meanwhile, other major clubs, likely including Arsenal and Manchester City, are actively pursuing him. No deal is confirmed, and negotiations are ongoing with multiple clubs. Now, it feels like Aston Villa have gone from being in pole position to now basically taking a backseat in this race, being overtaken by Man City and Arsenal. And that is frustrating. That is frustrating because, as I said, we seemed in pole position. We didn't get the deal done. Why is that? So, if you want to go to it, he is a Norwegian journalist who, as I said, I will show you the article in a second. But that was the article in which he's drafted up. Now, here is the article in itself, in which, again, you're going to need a translator for it in full. But a major Norwegian outlet there, it's got a picture of Sverre Nypan, and you need to be able to access that with a code. But there it is. That is a official publicization in Norway of this article. The guy who fed the news at the start that Villa were in pole position and breaking it, and now he's actually coming back to us and saying, listen, yeah, Villa are sort of a bit behind now. So, how do I conclude on this? My thoughts and feelings are this. Should we panic? I think it will be major worrying news if Villa fumble this deal. Why? Because we had him in our grasp. We sold him the project. He seemed very keen. As both Ornstein and Fabrizio had reported, we're very close to getting it done. We just had to agree the personal fees. We just had to get that tied up. Now it seems we've lost that pulling power. Now it seems if the news and rumours are true, we've lost that pull. Now, whether it's because, again, some of the factors I outlined earlier, our European stance, is it because we can't actually put him on the wages that he wants, or is it simply another metric? But we will have to lock in and watch out for this space, because this is one player that I think is going to be a game changer in Europe. As I said, dubbed a Norwegian wonder kid, dubbed better than what Odegaard ever was, a high footballing IQ, an offensive central player. This guy has done absolutely incredible things at 18 years old, breaking into the Rosenborg first team and scoring as well. He ticks all the boxes. It's just who's going to win his signature. We saw the absolute melodrama of what it was in January for Arsenal and how they missed out on him. They spent most of January pursuing him. Now, is it going to be us missing out? Lock on in this transfer, because I'm telling you now, if Villa do get him over the line, I have faith. I have absolute know-how that we've got pulling power still, that Monchi is doing his absolute utmost to bring in the best talent, and we do not need to worry about what it meant to miss out on Champions League football. If we lose out on this guy, I'm going to say it's panic stations a little bit. It's panic stations because we could be in for another terrible summer transfer window. And that's one thing I do not want. I've made it very clear. I felt our summer transfer window last season completely cost us Champions League football. We didn't get our situation sorted. We didn't have enough depth. We missed out. We loaned out a few of the players that we actually signed, like Enzo Balanchère, Illing Jr., for example. Absolute waste of signings. Just make sure we don't fumble this one, please, Villa. We need to get this right. So lock on this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know your opinions on this one. Are you panicking? Or do you feel the same as I do, that maybe the pulling power's not there? Or is this just the calmness? Are we going to wait for Fabrizio and David Ornstein to update us on this later and say, hey, everything's fine? We'll wait and see. Big up to everyone. Smash a like on the way out. I'm out of here. Ta-da.